We can confidently say this. Out of all the destinations we visited in Greece, Castoria gave us the most wonderful time. In our previous video, we shared some practical tips on how to get there, where to stay, and where to eat. But what's in Castoria? Why must you go? What's waiting for you there? In this episode, we'll show you the best attractions that this gorgeous city has to offer. Hey there, poor traveler, we are Vince and Yosh. If you're not yet subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button now and ring the bell next to it so you're always in the know when we publish practical and comprehensive travel videos. If you're watching this on Facebook, we're on the road to 1 million followers, so don't forget to like and follow this page too. For most of its history, Castoria is best known for one product, a product that has driven its economy for the longest time: fur. Castoria was a city of furriers, or those who make, repair, and sell fur garments. It is so embedded in the city's history that it is believed that the name itself came from the Greek word kastoras, which means beaver, a primary source of fur. For centuries, it had been a thriving industry, but the world is changing, especially over the past few years. While you still find fur stores and workshops in all shapes and sizes, some family-owned and others much bigger in scale, it is not as vibrant as before. When we visited, we were told there were only 16 masters who could match skins, a delicate task that requires decades of experience. Some find income in other fields, and one promising sector is tourism. Set in the middle of a stunning lake in northern Greece, Castoria may be a bit out of the way, or dare I say, off the beaten path. But those who go the extra mile are rewarded with a bombardment of unique experiences. And because it's not frequented by hordes of tourists, not yet at least, it can give you a more relaxed, more quiet, and more authentic experience. And visit as soon as you can. It's only a matter of time before more tourists find it. After all, the city is blessed with countless natural, cultural, and historical attractions, and we're going to show them to you right now. Starting with Lake Orestia. Because it is the heart of the Castoria regional unit or prefecture, Lake Orestia is often called Castoria Lake or Lake of Castoria. But the name Orestia was in reference to Oreades, the mountain nymphs in Greek mythology. But even today, there's something magical or mythical about it. Its banks are lined with trees that turn fiery in autumn. In winter, the lake freezes over, and in spring and summer, locals and visitors alike spend much time boating and admiring the view. The lake is fed by 9 rivulets and bottom springs. Formed 10 million years ago, it has become home to over 200 species of birds, including silver pelicans, mute swans, mallards, and herons, making it a fantastic bird-watching site. There's also a spot where you can feed ducks. Or geese. I don't know what these are. I'll never forget the moments I spent by the lake shore, even when I was just walking with friends with a cup of coffee on one hand. In a world of mass tourism, it's hard to find serenity, but it's something that Castoria can give you in spades. One of the lakeside spots you shouldn't miss is this, one of the city's greatest natural wonders, the Dragon Cave, so called because of the myth that a dragon once dwelled inside. Also because inside it is a rock formation resembling it. You see, nature has carved this cave 300 meters into this limestone hill for millions of years. But it wasn't until the 1940s, after the adjacent road was opened, that locals discovered its existence. And when explorers and scientists mapped it, they found multiple miniature lakes, halls, tunnels, and corridors adorned with countless stalactites, stalagmites, and other rock formations. It also seemed to be untouched by any human species prior to its discovery, but they found bones of cave bear species that are believed to have become extinct 10,000 years ago. Don't worry, you don't need to trek hard to see it. The entrance is just by the road, and the visitor's trail is well established, making exploring as easy as a walk in the park. If you walk northeast along the lake for 10 minutes, you'll stumble upon this historic site. Castoria has 72 churches and chapels. Many of them have roots that can be traced back to the Byzantine Empire, but one of the oldest is this monastery. Built in the 11th century, this monastic complex is believed to be built under Byzantine Emperor Alexios I Komnenos as a tribute to the Virgin Mary after a commander won a battle against the Normans in 1083. The main structure is this small timber-roofed basilica whose interiors are painted with centuries-old frescoes, one of which depicts the end of days or the apocalypse. Much of it is preserved, but the exterior paintings, which date back to the 13th century, have been badly damaged during the Ottoman occupation. In particular, the eyes of the figures were scratched out. Across the monastery stands a plane tree that is said to be over 900 years old. And it is massive, with a circumference measuring around 8.5 meters. And at 67 meters tall, it appears as a guard, a silent witness to the site's long, rich, and colorful past. When we first drove around the city, our attention was immediately captured by a couple of small rustic chapels that seemed to have frozen in time. Our guide Harris said that these are Byzantine churches, and that they have almost 80 of them here. I asked 80 or 18? Perhaps too softly because I didn't get a clarification. But as we made it deeper into the city, we were greeted by a parade of centuries-old chapels, one after another. At one point during our stay, our count exceeded 18, telling us that Castoria's faith and past are best epitomized by its spread of 80 churches, 80, that stand in its every nook and cranny. They serve as not just religious but historic and cultural monuments. Some are grand, some are simple, some are open to the public, some remain a private prayer house of local families that own them. Aside from the Panagia monastery that I mentioned earlier, these Byzantine churches include the following. Another postcard-worthy but newly built church is the Holy Church of St. Nicanor, close to Esperos Hotel. My friend says had a field day collecting flowers in an empty parking lot next to it. All around the city, you'll find spots where you could be at peace, and hilltops where you could see how the lake surrounds the city almost entirely, creating a magnificent view that only a few urban centers can rival. But perhaps the most accessible is the Hill of Prophet Elias, named after miracle worker Saint Elias or Elijah, the patron saint of tailors and fur traders. The most captivating structure here is this church, overlooking the city. But praying isn't the only thing you could do in the area. Within this complex, you'll find this lounge cafe, offering an unparalleled and unobstructed view of Castoria. It was raining when we paid a visit. While we could only imagine how stunning this vista would be when bathed in sunlight, the gloomy atmosphere didn't dampen its beauty. If anything, it created, a mood. Yep, a perfect excuse to get comfortable in these couches next to the glass walls, and preferably with a cup of coffee on one hand, or hot chocolate. We couldn't decide, so we ordered all three: classic hot choco, strawberry, and cookies and cream, courtesy of Christos, who owns the place. It's such a gorgeous lounge. It would be a shame to miss it if you're in Castoria. This area is also along a popular walking trail that leads to the top of the hill. And if you follow it, you'll pass by a basketball court and this deer sanctuary where they keep rescued animals. Where does the trail lead to? Well, to this site. It gives you an even higher vantage point. In fact, from here, you could spot the Church of Prophet Elias in the foreground, the lake in the middle, and the peninsula in the background. Wow, layers! We visited in spring, so the hillside is adorned with a blanket of yellow flowers, adding brightness to the scene. You know you're at the right spot when you see this meat house, which serves treats to carnivores from burgers to signature steaks. Just next to it, you'll find this stack of boulders. It's a perfect photo spot. Just please be careful when traversing these rocks. Not too far away lies the Mountain Theater, a small amphitheater which sometimes hosts performances. Let's go back down from the mountains and head outside the city. Just 20 minutes from Castoria proper, you'll find Dispilio, a historic village on the banks of Lake Orestia. And by historic, I mean really ancient. Dispilio's claim to fame is this archaeological site, which harbors the remains of a lakeshore community that dates back to the Middle Neolithic Age. That's around 5260 BCE, making it the oldest lake settlement discovered in Europe. Back then, it was estimated to be home to about 3,000 individuals. In 1932, a group of fishermen stumbled upon it when a drought exposed some of the remnants. Over the next decades, more artifacts were found, from bones to ceramics to the Dispilio tablet, a wooden plaque bearing markings. Today, a model of what the settlement must have looked like stands. It's an open-air museum that welcomes tourists from all over the globe, but most of them are domestic. When we visited, we shared the site with grade schoolers on an educational tour. There's also a shop by the exit, so don't forget to take home a souvenir. Further southwest lies neighboring Neestorio, another village with quite an eventful past. It is said to be founded by Nestor, son of King Agamemnon. Yes, this Agamemnon. Nestor fled to this site at the foot of the Gramus mountain with his brother Orestes. Aside from the Neolithic finds, it is also widely believed to have hosted Alexander the Great when he was just a boy, learning the art of war. Like the city of Castoria, it has its share of old churches, but we chose to climb to this chapel called Church of the Holy Spirit. This small structure is perched on a picturesque cliff, allowing a gorgeous view of the village. You could even spot some of its landmarks, including the 4-star Afkos Gramos Boutique Hotel Resort. This luxury hotel houses a restaurant serving sumptuous traditional Greek fare and a terrace overlooking the village. And of course, it offers accommodations too, especially when there's a wave of visitors flooding into the area. Why would tourists flock to this sleepy village, you ask? The answer? 2 words. River Party! River Party is the biggest music festival in Greece, and it happens here on the banks of Aliakmon River in Nestoria. For a few days in the summer, usually in August, 50,000 music fans gather and celebrate here, filling the usually tranquil village with melodies and cheers. But even when the party is over, this part of the river is quite scenic. When we visited, we were joined by architect Harris. His father built this stone bridge that has become an icon for the event. And when it was time to rebuild and reinforce it, he gladly stepped forward to do the job. He also showed and taught us how to do stone skipping properly, but I guess we just didn't have the knack for it. On the other side of the lake, deep into the mountains and accessible via winding roads, you'll find this monastery cradled in the municipality of Klysura. This is the Panagia's Klysouras Monastery, built in the 14th century. Aside from being a monastery, it also served as a fortress for a time. But it's perhaps best known among members of the Greek Orthodox Church as the home of Saint Sophia. It is believed that the Panagia, or the Virgin Mary, appeared to her numerous times, and on one occasion instructed her to go to this monastery, and she did. She slept in the fireplace of its kitchen. She performed miracles which attracted believers to the site. But on May 6, 1974, she passed away, and this monastery also served as her final resting place. Today, her relics are still kept here, and every May 6, a glorification ceremony is held in her honor. We were fortunate because our visit coincided with the occasion, so we were able to witness the event this year. Back to the city center, we'd also love to show you another chapel. This one isn't among the 80 Byzantine churches as it was built more recently, at least compared to most churches here. This is St. Paraskevi Dragota Orthodox Church, tucked in a residential corner just a couple of blocks from the lake. It wasn't part of our original itinerary, but our host Sonia wanted us to see her absolute favorite spot in the city. She said that while she frequented the vicinity, She had never been inside the church. She would only admire it from the outside and watch the candle that had been kept lit by the families taking care of the church. We spent a few minutes here and were headed for the lake, but the caretaker was apparently watching us. Before we could leave, he offered to give us a tour. Meet Sir Yorgos. He opened the church to us. According to him, it was built in 1899. Yes, over 120 years ago. It has undergone a lot of changes over the past century, but the original columns remain standing. He led us across the nave, past the iconostasis, and into the sanctuary where the columns can be found. He also let us admire and film the interiors, including the artworks. Such a lovely historic church. This is what we love about Castoria. Its every corner is filled with unexpected finds. From unassuming but age-old structures like this, to picturesque parks, to scrumptious food. Speaking of food, I already said it in our previous video, but I'll say it again. Out of all the places we visited in the Balkan region, this is where we had some of the best meals that graced our palate. Every single ingredient, from the much bragged about Florina peppers to the succulent lamb chops, is high quality, and its freshness is undeniable. Some of the traditional dishes you should sink your teeth into include samrades, which are pickled cabbage stuffed with minced meat and rice. Every family has its own take on it, so don't be surprised if it tastes different in different places. Another local staple is the Castorian giant beans. Yep, giant! These massive beans, while thin-skinned, must be soaked overnight to achieve the right softness. They are then baked usually with herbs, tomatoes, and meat. One of our favorites is the badjo, which is brined cheese prepared Saganaki style. Some restaurants serve it with fried egg, others fry it to a crisp. Regardless of the cooking method, the slight saltiness of the cheese always shines through. And these are just the appetizers. For main course, there's not much seafood here, and the go-to is a platter of various meats grilled to perfection. Lamb, beef, chicken, pork, and sometimes wild boar, souvlaki, kebab, sausage. It's a meat fest. For dessert, I noticed that many households and restaurants serve fruit confit or candied fruits, which is a way of preserving cherries, oranges, and many other fruits in sugar. Even this signature cake that we were served in Kristalopihi, near the border with Albania, was topped with candied citron or lime. It's a sweet treat that you shouldn't miss. In our next video, we'll be showing you more places to visit in Greece. So, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon if you're on YouTube, or follow and like this page if you're on Facebook. If you have questions, make good use of the comment section below. You can also follow or message us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Just look for @ThePoorTraveler, single L. If you have a Spotify account or Apple Podcasts app, follow and tune in to the Poor Traveler podcast. That's all for now. Remember, plan smart, travel safe, and make every trip worth it.